Learning regression analysis in 10 minutes. This video will show you how to perform simple linear regression or multiple linear regression in STATA, and how to perform regression when the predictor is binary or categorical, and how to check assumptions and look at the residuals. If you find this video useful, do subscribe to the channel, leave any comment in the indicated box, and activate the notification bell to receive the recent and latest release into the channel of several different video clip, and click on the like icon and share the video link with others so the channel can expand and improve to include a large scope of different statistical method and how to analyze data using several different statistical packages such as SPSS, Excel, STATA, Jamovi, R Statistics, GraphPad, Prism, GPower, Python, and RevMan. To do simple linear regression in STATA, here I have two variables: the outcome, which is systolic blood pressure, and the predictor, which is the age. And to find out whether the predictor, the age, can predict the systolic blood pressure, in the command section type regress space outcome, which is systolic blood pressure, space, then the age, hit enter. A table is generated showing that the slope is equal to 1.09 and the intercept is 86.2 and the p-value is less than 0.05, so the age can predict the systolic blood pressure. To do linear regression in STATA for a binary predictor, here I have the 6, which is a binary, 1 for male and 0 for females, and a variable which is systolic blood pressure, which is an outcome. To do linear regression with an outcome of systolic blood pressure and a predictor which is binary, in the command section type regress space, then systolic blood pressure, which is the outcome, then the binary predictor, which is 6, hit enter. A table is generated showing that the slope is equal to 11.9 and the intercept is 135.7 and the p-value is less than 0.05. To do linear regression with categorical predictor in STATA, here I have two variables: the systolic blood pressure, which is an outcome, and a predictor which is categorical, that have 3 categories in it. In the command section type regress space, then outcome, which is systolic blood pressure, space, then I for categorical, dot, then age, hit enter. Table is generated showing the coefficient for the two classes here, and the lowest classes is taken as a reference, and an intercept which is 116.17 and a p-value less than 0.05. This analysis shows age categories can predict systolic blood pressure. To do multiple linear regression in STATA, here I have 3 variables: an outcome, which is systolic blood pressure, and 2 predictor, which is age and weight. And to find out whether age and or weight can predict systolic blood pressure, in the command section type regress space, then the outcome, which is systolic blood pressure, then the age, then the weight, and hit enter. A table is generated showing the coefficient for the age and the weight and a p-value less than 0.05. This table shows that the age and the weight can predict the systolic blood pressure. Calculating residuals for linear regression analysis in STATA. Here I have two variables, the outcome, which is systolic blood pressure, and the age, which is a predictor. To calculate the residual, first we need to fit a model to the variables here by doing regression analysis, then calculate the residual. In the command type regression between outcome and predictor, hit enter, calculate the residual, type predict, then R for residual, hit enter. A new variable is generated labeled as residual, which calculates the residual for each data point in the regression model. To test normality of residuals from linear regression in STATA using PP plot, here I have an outcome, which is systolic blood pressure, and a predictor, which is an age, and a model has been fitted, regression model, and the residual is calculated. And to find out whether these residual are normally distributed or not, in the command section, type p norm and then R for residual, hit enter. A plot is generated showing that the dots are not aligned along the diagonal line, which indicates that the residuals are not normally distributed. Testing for normality of residuals in STATA using kernel density estimate plot when performing linear regression. Here I have two variables, an outcome, which is systolic blood pressure, and an age, which is a predictor, and a regression model has been fitted and the residuals are calculated. To test for normality of residuals, type K density and then space R, comma, norm, and hit enter. A kernel density estimate plot is generated showing that the residual violated the assumptions for normality. Testing the assumptions for linear regression in STATA. The first assumption is the linearity of residual. Here I have an outcome, which is systolic blood pressure, and a predictor, which is age, and a model has been fitted using linear regression, and the residual are calculated as shown here. To check whether these residual are normally distributed, we'll use the QQ plot. In the command section, type Q norm and then R for residual, hit enter. A QQ plot is generated and it shows that the dots are not aligned along the diagonal line, so the residuals are not normally distributed. Testing for equal variances of residuals in STATA is one of the assumptions for linear regression. Here I have an outcome, which is systolic blood pressure, and an age, which is a predictor, and a model has been fitted, regression model, and the residual or residuals are calculated. In the command section, type the following: R VF plot, comma, and then Y line, a bracket, and insert 0, hit enter. A plot is generated. If you are a student or a researcher and you have a data, whether it is quantitative or qualitative, and you want to perform statistical analysis on that data using any of the softwares listed here, whether it's SPSS, Excel, STATA, Jamovie, R Statistics, GraphPad, Prism, RevMan, GMP, Python, then do contact me to arrange for either a one-to-one private tutor session or a training course on any of these statistical packages. My contact details are given here, so don't hesitate to write to me or email me if you need a private one-to-one tutoring or a training course.